Hey, welcome everyone to the E3 Leadership Podcast. My name is Jackie White, and I have the honor of leading a network that we call the E3 Network. It's for pastors and business leaders and church leaders. We just hope to help you enhance and grow in your leadership. Today, I'm very excited. I have a dear friend with me today, Marcus Burkeen. Marcus has been around a long time. He's been a pastor for over 33 years. Worked as a coach, an executive coach, done a lot of different things, and I've known him for several years now. We've become close. So, Marcus, welcome.
Thank you. Honored to be here, Jackie.
We're glad you're here, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You know a little bit about E3. This is, E3 is all about relationship. It's not about building a large group. It's about building a group that can really help one another. We can relate to one another and really help when there's a need in someone's life. And so you've been a part of some E3 meetings before with us, isn't that right?
Yes, sir. Yeah. And that so fits who you are, Jackie. Just a relational leader, always investing, always pouring in to others, always very gentle in your correction when it's necessary, but pushing leadership out to where it's grasping, it's able to be grasped by people that really need it, and often their own self-doubt keeps a low ceiling on them, and you just remove the ceiling for them.
You know, being a leader in today's world is not easy. People have a lot of expectations that they put on their leaders.
It's a difficult landscape out there, a lot of comparisons.
Yeah.
And, we look out at the great leaders and wonder, how do they get there, and what's the secret they know? And the secrets, really, there are no secrets.
That's right.
Really. I think God puts leadership in all people to varying degrees.
Yeah.
But some people, and really this is me, I come alongside leaders and help them figure it out.
Yeah.
And so that's just a kind of a nuance to the way God made me, but I see a lot of similarities. And of course, you led at a high level for so long, but now you're just supporting, coming under and next to leaders and helping them figure it out, and helping them grow into what God made them for. And it's a joy to watch, Jackie.
Well, thank you. I've had guys ask me, what is the secret? What is the key? And like you said, there are no secrets to it. It's leadership just evolves. Leadership grows. We mature as leaders. We go through situations, sometimes very hard situations, and it helps us grow in our leadership ability. Yeah. One of the things I want to talk to you about, it's kind of my focus right now when I'm working with leaders, is encouraging them in the area of team building. We can't do it by ourselves.
Yeah.
And talk to me about that. Why do you think teams are so important?
Well, so fundamentally, especially in the church, the church's primary call is to discipleship. And so if you start building teams, the American mindset is toward efficiency. And so we see it, and we see churches with lots of teams and lots of great leadership. And so many times you think, well, the reason they're big is because they're so efficient. No, the reason churches grow is because they're growing disciples. And the reason you build teams is to make disciples.
Right.
That's the reason we do it. And even the leaders outside of the church who are admired as great leaders are people that invested in others, who believed in other people, who grew the leaders around them. And it was God's idea first, and embedded that into His people, into their DNA.
Yeah.
And so it does make things more efficient in time, but building teams will slow things down in the beginning.
Yeah, let's talk about that. I was just thinking as you were talking about my own history in my own life and about a lot of young pastors that I talk to, sometimes it's harder, especially at the beginning, to build a team than to just do it by yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a lot of us that we just kind of drift back into this old routine. I'll just do it myself.
Yeah.
But there's a problem in that, because that will only last so long. It will only grow so much as long as we're doing it by ourselves.
Yeah. And part of what I believe is wrong with the American church is that so many churches are developed with the functionality of a bunch of amateurs coming to watch the experts do their thing. And it is so backwards to the way that God wants this thing to function. And so I believe the churches that God really blesses are the ones that begin to raise up leaders, to build teams. And here's the thing. You do put some things at risk. Mm-hmm. And you may watch somebody else that you empower begin to build something that you handed off to them, and you may just think, oh, they are going to absolutely ruin this. Mm-hmm. And all these years that I've spent getting this thing established, and I give it to a person who is completely changing it up. And if you hold them to values more than to outcomes, mm-hmm. then you can, it's fair to say, we're always going to treat people with dignity. We're always going to tell the truth. We're always going to be biblical in the way that we run ministry and believe in people. But inside of these parameters, be creative. And what I have found is that an empowered leader will make adjustments that most of the time are improvements, that they're better than I would have done it if I had kept doing it myself. Mm-hmm. But it's excruciating at times to watch a new leader begin to make changes, and it's almost like you gave your baby away, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. and now they're running it differently, again, within the values.
Right.
But they're adding some creative touches. And I just have found that 85, 90% of the time, give it a couple of years, and it's better than what you could have done yourself.
Yeah. Okay, you used the word, you used it twice, empower. I'm the leader of the team. How do I empower those team members? What can I do as a leader to empower the members of the team underneath me?
Well, there are several things. I think clarity is key.
Yeah.
If any of the expectations are not written down, they will not be understood and thus agreed to. And so I think the clarity's got to be written down. It's why Habakkuk says, write the vision and make it clear and plain so that mm-hmm. the runner can run with it. It's got to be written down so that everybody can read it and define the words, define the phrases, and understand.
So many times as a leader, I'll be working with a team, but I'll come back feeling very frustrated. And it's really not the team's fault. The fault lies with me. I've not been clear mm-hmm. in giving them direction, in giving them vision, right. and telling them this is where I want to go.
Yeah. I think you've also got to have some very clear job description, maybe too technical, but in terms of here's what I want for this area, this ministry in the church, this department. Here's what I want. And then I think there's got to be regular involvement, engagement mm-hmm. to come alongside and say, what do you need? How can I support? Or do you have any questions for me? Mm-hmm. And I think another very, very valuable thing, Jackie, in the church, even the church has lost this to some degree, is encouragement.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about how important it is. It's happened so rarely in my life that I can remember the people and the places and the dates. I know exactly where I was when people said, "Marcus, I believe in you."
Yeah.
And it still moves me emotionally to think that somebody said to me, "I'm so proud of you. I thank you for what you're doing. You're doing a great job. Is there anything I can do to support, to lend my strength, and just to know that there was a non-judgmental oversight that I could call and say, hey, I've got a decision to make, and I'm not sure which should I do this or should I do that." And the greatest leaders in my life have said, "Well, what do you think?"
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I will tell them what I think and why. And then they would bounce that around with me for a little bit and say, "Marcus, I think it's a great idea. That's what you should do."
They were empowering you.
Empowering
just
me,
by
absolutely.
the way they handled that situation.
Yep.
Wow, that's
Yep.
good.
And the encouragement gives me confidence that I'm not going to mess it up, so badly it can't be restored. I certainly agree with the values and everything that's in place, but are you going to be disappointed in me? Part of me wants to know, if I do this differently than you, are you going to be frustrated, angry, disappointed in me? Because if you are, I'm sort of walking on eggshells.
Mm-hmm.
And so I need the trust of an oversight who will say to me, "I believe in you. I trust your wisdom. You're ready for this. I'm right here if you need me. Call me," and then checks in on a regular basis. And then, within 6 to 12 months, here I was growing something that had been handed off to me. Mm-hmm. And I could look at it and say, I feel like I'm really serving God here.
Yeah.
And a confidence grew that I hadn't known before that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wow. Listening to Marcus talk about encouraging your team members, it sounds like it's a good thing. Just being patient and giving it time. It sounds like it will always work, but sometimes it doesn't work. Tell me about how we handle it when perhaps we have a member on the team who's not pulling their weight, or maybe they're in over their head, and how do we correct them? How do we deal with those kind of situations? Because those can be heartbreaking situations for the leader.
They can be. I think, the old adage, we praise publicly and correct privately.
That's good.
So you shut the door and you say, to me, I think you just ask questions and find out, are they remotely aware of how this is going? Because they may think, I'm getting on base every time I swing the bat.
Yeah.
And so if you discover that they're not aware of what you can see, I would just ask more questions, point it out. Hey, have you noticed that you used to have 10 volunteers and now you're down to 6? Have you noticed that? Mm-hmm. What do you attribute that to? And just see if you can get them to some self-discovery.
Yeah.
To say, I still believe in you.
Yeah.
How can I help you rebuild, recover? I really want you to succeed here.
Yeah.
And I'm a little concerned about the direction things are going. Are you also concerned, or do you not see what I see? And I would just ask questions and get them to begin talking.
There's a certain level of accountability that has to be going on between the leader and his team members.
Yep.
And it goes both ways.
Goes both ways. Yeah. Yeah. To me, there needs to be, if not weekly, twice a month, engagement. oversight sounds a little overbearing,
yeah.
and I don't mean it that way, but simply to say, hey, let's talk. How you doing? How are things at home? How's your marriage? How are your kids doing? And just checking in personally, and then let's talk for a little bit about the ministry. How do you think things are going? How do you feel like everybody's hitting their mark? Do you feel like you're hitting your numbers? And it's not all about the numbers, but you've got to have a dashboard so that everybody, one person doesn't think, well, it's the best thing since sliced bread, and everybody else is going, it looks broken to me.
Yeah.
Well, you've got to have, data to speak apples to apples,
right,
as it were. So,
okay, this came to my mind as you were talking. Teams can be made up in different ways, but does all of these principles, the empowerment, the encouragement, the accountability, do they carry over from maybe a paid staff to a volunteer team? Is there a difference in leading people that are on your payroll rather than leading people who are volunteers? Because most of our churches, those teams are made up of volunteers. And to hold them accountable, they're not getting paid anything. Mm-hmm. That's kind of a tough one, isn't it?
It is a tough one. It's a volunteer army.
Yeah.
At the church, and so there you can act a little more decisively when needed if they're on staff and being paid. If they're a volunteer, you really, and I hope that the dignity that we see in all people, just because of the image of God they bear, would cause us to treat all people evenly and the same anyway.
Yeah.
But growth is hard. It's hard. It's hard. I remember being 8 and my knees ached because my bones were growing. And growth is hard.
Growth is not easy.
It's hard to learn new things. And you could say a natural leader. No, there's no such thing as a natural leader. Everybody had to learn leadership somewhere. Now, there may be people with a natural tendency to stand before people and lead, whatever that looks like. But everybody has to learn how to do it. And we do that by failure.
Yeah.
Typically, not by success.
That's so good.
And so when someone fails, it's okay. We're going to get through this. It's part of the landscape. It's part of the way we all grow and learn. But I believe in you.
Yeah.
And I'm here to help you.
So good. Thank you, Marcus.
So, yeah.
Wow. Let me just say this to you, especially to the pastors that are listening. I've heard it said many, many times. The people that walk through the doors of our church, they're looking for two things. Every person is looking for two things. Number one, they want to be part of something bigger than themselves. That's part of the attraction of being a part of the church, being a part of the kingdom of God. We get to participate in something that is so much bigger than just ourselves. But the second thing that people are looking for, they're wanting to be significant as an individual. And that's what our teams can provide. Both of those things can happen when we build teams, whether in our churches and in our businesses, even in our families. We give them that sense that they're part of something bigger than themselves, but they are also significant as an individual. Wow. Marcus, thank you again. Man, this has been great.
Honored to be here with you, Jackie.
I wish we had just hours
Thank you, friend.
to delve into this, because there's so much to be said. And let me just end by doing this. I want to encourage you. Marcus talked about encouragement. I want to encourage you as you're watching this podcast today. God knows where you're at. He knows exactly what He's calling you to do, and He's there to help you. And if nobody else has told you today, let me tell you, I believe in you, and you can do what God has called you to do. Yeah. As we wrap this up, let me encourage you to subscribe to the E3 podcast. You can get that on YouTube. You can go to the Church on the Rock, COTR People website, and all of our podcasts are there. Again, Marcus, thank you. Again, thank you for tuning into our podcast.